Your number one hype gal here, and welcome to the weekly warm-up, your weekly 20-minute dose of all things running, wellness, nutrition, and real balanced living. I'm Jess McDowell, and each week I'll share quick tips, mindset shifts, product faves, and all the little things that help me stay grounded, energized, moving and grooving, on the run and off. Whether you're hitting the pavement or just need something short and sweet to keep you going, let's dive in.
Let's go. Episode 3. I cannot believe it has been 3 weeks of me starting and time is flying. I've been having a blast. I hope you've been enjoying yourself. Can we give a shout out to this outfit, by the way, if you're watching? It is so stinking awesome and cute and cozy. Fabletics dropped their VIP. It's like a paisley summer drop that they did that I am obsessed with. I actually just ran in the biker shorts and sports bra that's like this, same thing, but is in the most gorgeous cream color you have ever seen. I am not a patterns gal, but when I saw this, I had to have it. And then this is the cozy set that I wanted to have in the blue. I'm still trying to figure out a way to start every solo episode because it is the most awkward task. And I do believe it is the hardest task out of all the things that come into play with podcasting, but that is okay. We'll figure it out. I also have to say that this will potentially most likely be the last episode that I will be using this mic because I purchased a podcast mic, which means we are becoming more official, and I'm super pumped that I give the people what they want, and that is the weekly warm-up. Today, we are gonna get into talking about friendships, relationships, dating, a little mental health and past trauma, something that's a little bit more vulnerable for me. And I like that because that was one of the main things of me starting this podcast, was to have the ability to be more vulnerable and talk about past traumas, to talk about how those have developed me into the woman that I am today. Like I always say, you're strong, you're capable, you're healthy, you're worthy, and how I have overcome some of those situations. Let's dive in. So we're starting off by talking about, is it anxiety or am I just overstimulated? And I think for me, the biggest thing is I'm aware of what I do and that my career revolves around social media, but I'm also aware that is my responsibility to take breaks when I need to. That's not really what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about mainly how we have full control of what we see on our platforms. You will notice that your phone will pick up on everything that you talk about or you search, because you'll start to see those ads or you'll start to see those types of accounts pop up on your feed. If your social media feed and what you're opening and looking at is no longer relevant to you, and that happens because we also evolve, get rid of it. Unfollow, remove it, say I'm not interested. You don't have to see it. We're in full control of what we see on our social media, whether you want to accept it and believe it or not. It is okay if you unfollow certain people or unfollow certain things that you once followed a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. If you're feeling overstimulated, if you're starting to realize that when you go onto social media, you're unhappy, you get angry, you get frustrated, you start comparing yourself, you're not genuinely happy for the people that you love, you're hate liking, or you're getting on for the wrong reasons, take a break. It is okay. We all go through our highs and lows, and we all go through being overstimulated, and there is nothing more beneficial for you than to taking a break and step back. I'm finding that because I'm on so many screens that my eyes, my brain, my body, I'm exhausted from just staring at screens. That's kind of where I'm at, is just not having to have so many screens in my face all the time. I thought this would be a fun topic to talk about, and it is friendships in your 20s and 30s. Boy, do they look different, and they should. No doubt about it. Because we're OCD, we're gonna go in chronological order, and we're gonna start with being in your 20s. Most youths in their 20s do not have as much responsibility as they would in their 30s. You're getting out of college, you're finding jobs, you're deciding on the career that you want to go into, you might be switching it up. You're in, dating relationships and friendship relationships that you think are the most serious in the world, and that is not a problem. You most likely are not fully dependent on yourself most likely not fully dependent on yourself or fully independent. Your goal is to meet everyone and everything that you see, and you like to go on trips all the time with your friends because you have more, availability. It is just this whirlwind of growth and youth at the same time. For me, in my 20s, after I graduated from Alabama, I moved basically every 12 to 14 months for about 8 to 10 years in a row. Bless my mom, because she was there for every single one of them. And maybe that is a good topic for her to touch on when I have her on as a guest. You have your high school friends and your friends that you grew up with from childhood. You have your new college friends, and then friends that you start meeting out of college from work. So that's kind of where you eventually start to, I don't want to say wean them out, but as you go through your 20s, you start to see friendships start to fall off for normal, natural reasons and for personal reasons that you have to do when you start realizing you have to set boundaries. Once you hit your 30s, people start getting married and having kids. You start moving away. You start realizing you have more responsibility, and you are starting to become more focused on what really you want in your life. Sometimes that means having to take a step back from people, and there is nothing wrong with that. And you should never feel a wave of guilt, anxiety, or regret for doing something that is right for you and that is bettering you and your life. In your 30s, you start to realize that you want a smaller circle, and having, a handful, and I'm talking 5 or less people that you can confide in, that are going to be there for you on your highest days and your lowest days, aren't going to just cheer you on when you're doing great, but are going to cheer you on when you're not, and that aren't going to feed off of when you're not doing great to make to make them feel better. Whoa. What I love about being in your 30s versus 20s when it comes to friendships is that I am surrounded by people all the time in the industry that I'm in and with my careers that I'm in, that the time that I have that is downtime, I'm either working or I'm taking the time for myself, for self-care, and enjoying and doing the things that I want to do. I think that that's where you start to realize in your 30s those boundaries, but having your solo time, you have developed into a person where you will meet people through similar interests, and you'll surround yourself with people of similar interests, and that is exciting. You meet a lot of really cool people, and then you get to stay in contact with them on social media. So there's just so many ways to have friendships these days with people in different states, cities, countries, and I like that. I think it's super cool. The first dating relationship topic I thought was very important, because this is where we're gonna get a little vulnerable, but I'm also gonna be honest about areas in my life that I made mistakes. And that is talking about I was the problem, lessons I had to learn the hard way. So first of all, my entire life have dealt with abandonment issues from my dad because of him having alcoholism and feeling as if he never was the father figure that I had to feel like I was growing up, and I was taking care of him more than he took care of me, the false promises, the not showing up. Until about 29, 30 years old, I really did not have a hold or control on my abandonment issues and the triggers that would spark the abandonment issues. So for me, one area that I had to learn the hard way was the anxiety that would come up from it in relationships and how I would handle them. I had horrible boundaries, which is crazy to think about that I'm so independent and I love my solo time, but was really bad about doing my own thing out of fear of abandonment. That took a lot of searching and finding therapy with myself to realize that not everyone's gonna be that way. There's a reason why everyone reacts to certain things in life. For me, once I was able to really dive deep and realize what it was, I cannot tell you how amazing the growth has been, but also to the pivot in my mind and my mindset of not only how I handle relationships that, moving forward, but also to even in the dating world of when I am very aware this person is not striking me the right way. There's something about him in my gut that is making me feel uncomfortable. If you're just in the dating scene, it's not worth it in general. This is a fun one. More worried about impressing others than focusing on my relationship. And I think that obviously comes with maturity too, and then the rise of social media. But being more focused on sharing on social media, I remember I would get so frustrated if my ex didn't post me on social media or didn't like every picture or comment every picture, which sounds insane, and it is. Oh boy, this is a good one. Giving too many chances. Yikes. Let's just say that I gave way too many chances. I will say that in my past relationships, I have been very good with giving too many chances, even knowing deep down in my heart and in my gut that I know this won't work out. Most of the time when I was in these relationships, there becomes a point where you have this gut, a feeling or epiphany, this person, you're not gonna get married to them. And even though I had that gut feeling often, and I was living with this person, I moved states with this person, I was not allowing myself to give in out of fear of course, starting over, which is terrifying. And then also too, thinking, am I ever gonna find anyone again? And that is a real fear as well. If you're constantly giving chances, that's not, like, this is a red flag. You've got to stop and you've got to get out of it. One of the areas that I've really set boundaries on, if I am feeling any type of way in my gut, emotionally, mentally, physically, where my body is repelling a person, it's not gonna happen because I know my worth. And it takes being in those relationships to grow from it. So that is something that I'm very thankful for, is that all of my past relationships and everything that I have gone through in life has developed me into the woman today and into the woman that I know I'm gonna become. And I love that, and I'm so excited about it. And also too, it's given me a platform like this to be able to talk about these past experiences. So that way, maybe I can help another girl out that is in this similar situation, and this could be her call to action. Who knows? Okay, I wish this actually could be a segment. Maybe when I have guests on, this could be a really good segment, but the question or the topic is, am I being too picky or am I protecting my peace? Right now, I'm so focused on what I'm doing. I think when I get on a dating app, it's become a chore. When you're dating, there's a period where you are just a yes girl, meaning you'll get on and anyone that, fits genuinely into what you're interested in, wants to go on a date, you'll say yes. And right now, that is just not me. During COVID, truly, that was my biggest wild dating escapade of my entire life. Because mind you, in college and the majority of my 20s, I was in relationships. So I have never had the wild one night stands or the wild going and hooking up and dating and doing this and that. From the ages, from the ages of 31, 32. So from 31 to 32, let's call it, I had the most fun dating in the wildest times. Truly, I should make a whole episode on some of the dates that I went on. I am going to talk about a date I went on in Charleston, including one that I got COVID from. So you're gonna have your peaks and your valleys and whatnot. But for me right now, I don't want to say I'm being too picky. I'm just not giving my energy to just anybody. And I do open the apps. And when I tend to open the apps, it's when I'm literally in traffic or bored. It's random when I really do open them. And I have these meaningless conversations one-off where you don't reply to a person and it's been like 2 weeks and you reply and then they reply and nothing out of it. And I don't even know why you do it, honestly. There has not been one person right now recently that I have felt like I wanted to stop things, or not stop things, but make time for them in my schedule. So I definitely think it's not about being picky, but more about when I'm in settings to have a mindset of, do I look like I could be approachable to somebody that I want to approach me? And there is a difference, because I don't want to be at the grocery store. This is a good example. Just the other day, I was at a beach club and I was having a solo day, a me day, which I tend to have a lot of, and I love them. And I'm having a solo day and a me day, and I'm using my camera to take some shots of myself and everything like that. And I had 4 different men that day come up to me while I was at my chair at the beach. There was 3. And then there was one when I went up to the tiki bar when it was raining. They came up to me and asked me if I wanted them to be my photographer. I was, one, not attracted to any of them. Not even remotely. Not even remotely. And they were literally all walks of life. Pissed that they felt like that was their way of trying to start a conversation with me, is to ask to be my photographer. Something about that just really irks me out in general, but that is your way of coming up to me. That, to me, shows that I could be approachable looking, obviously. Well, I'm in a bathing suit, let's be real. That is why I don't try to come across as being approachable, because of those reasons. And it's unfortunate that women in society, it's never gonna change, that guys are always gonna feel like we are damsels in distress. I'm just waiting for the one person to not think that I'm a damsel in distress and needs them, but wants to be a partner with them. And that's super important to me, is having somebody that is gonna equally compliment me and that wants me to be independent, that wants to see me thrive. There's the give and the take, isn't there because I need you or I have to have you. It's because I want to have you, period. Biggest dating advice would be, if you've never had a yes period in dating, to do it, because there are gonna be a lot of things that you find out about yourself. And that is super important. And if that means that you might need to go on some dates that you know are never gonna turn into anything else, or that you kind of have to force yourself and wing it, do it, because you will really start to realize what matters most to you. And there will also be things that you realize, wow, I thought that mattered to me, but now I'm sure that it doesn't. I'm gonna be honest with you, you're gonna go on some dates where you're grinding your teeth, you cannot wait to get out of it, that the person is just so genuinely nice, so you don't want to be an asshole and fake something to leave. You are thinking about how you could be in bed, cozied up, watching some murder television, and here you are listening to this person and it's driving you up the wall. Even when you don't think that it's maturing you and it's making you figure out what you want, it is. I promise. Trust me. Trust me. I think it's time we take a break from all this serious business and I tell one of my dating stories. This one actually happened a while ago, but it will always stick in my mind, and it definitely touches on most, if not all, of the subjects we've talked about today. And I promise you I will do a full episode on just dates that I have been on this can be a preview. Circa Charleston era, I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship and I had downloaded Hinge and started using the app. I believe Hinge was newer then. And I figured, you know what? I deserved to go out on a date. I deserved to start dating. I planned a date with this guy. It was for a Sunday morning brunch. And we get to this really cool place on the water in Shem Creek. The conversation kind of started a little rocky. I started to notice that he was opening up a little too soon about deep, deep matters that personally I was not really wanting to get involved with. We are having brunch. This is the first time of us meeting, our first date. I want to keep it cool, casual. The last thing I am trying to do is talk about your traumas. No offense. Anyways, he starts to dive in about his dad and him and his relationship with his dad. And then kind of from there, he proceeds to talk about just some really odd mannerisms that are expected of women. And it was just a little uncomfortable, but I was trying to let it go. I'm here. I'm already committed. I have a mimosa. I've ordered a breakfast burger. Remember that. And it has a beautiful medium egg that will ooze off. You got bacon. I am ready. We're eating, he's yapping, and he finishes his meal pretty quickly. I'm still on mine. I haven't nearly gotten in as much of my meal as he has. And he asks me if he can have a bite of my burger. I find it odd just because, first of all, on a first date, unless you're really hitting it off both ways, I don't find it appropriate to ask. But at the same time, I'm not stuck up. Sure, I let him have a bite. So I pass it over at my plate and he proceeds to start eating my entire burger. I didn't say anything because one, we've already had some red flags with the conversation. And two, to be honest with you, I just wanted to see how far he would take this. Is this guy gonna eat my entire meal? And he did. Yes, he actually ate my entire burger thinking that I didn't want it anymore and that I was done. I had already decided that this guy was a no from the conversation. Now, after eating my burger, you best be kidding me. I am ready to stab him with my fork. I am so livid. To the point where when the waiter came up and asked how are things going, I basically signaled for the check. We get the check, he goes to pay and says to me, next time you're paying. I don't know what my face looked like, to be honest with you. I was ready to climb over this table. It was doing everything in my power to not say something and just literally demolish this man. Not even a man, he's not a man. Demolish this little boy. But the last thing I wanted was to make a scene and have an argument with this loser. Pay, I'm out, I'm getting ready to go. I'm walking to my car like, thank you, nice meeting you. As I'm walking to my car, I realize he's walking with me. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so he's trying to be the gentleman now by walking me to my car. Sure, we'll let it happen. Oh, no. He was walking to my car to proceed to see how clean it was. What in the murder mystery episode am I getting into? I couldn't believe it, let alone one, first of all, because I want to toot my own horn. I am very, very organized when it comes to my car. But what psycho on a first date is just event after event after event to then looking into my car to see if it was clean. I could not drive away faster in my life, let alone go get food to feed myself and go home. This guy proceeds to text me later that day saying what a wonderful time he had, that it was one of the best dates he's been on in a while, and that he would love to see me again. I was floored. The lack of awareness, but not only that, the narcissistic behavior to think that I had a good time is unbelievable, unfathomable. I can't ever say that. Unfathomable. Cool, we'll leave it there. I never even replied. I couldn't even reply because I didn't owe this person anything. I literally didn't owe him anything. I think a day goes by, maybe a day or two goes by, and he proceeds to send me a text message as if we were breaking up, saying how he can't believe that I didn't respond to him, that we had such a good time and he was, really into me, and he didn't expect that I would just ghost him like this and why I would do that. And I was just so floored by it all. Again, I could not respond. I did not know what to say to this person, but the thought that he even thought that there was anything going on blows my mind. That was that. And let's say I will talk about that date for the rest of my life, mainly the part of him eating my entire meal. I couldn't believe it. Truly, I couldn't believe it. Oh, wow. All right, I think on that note, we can go into the final segment, which is products that I'm digging this week. And I have them out here. I am ready to rock and roll. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 products, and we're gonna get through this quick. First product I'm digging is this Kitsch, Kitsch, I can never pronounce it right, dry brush. I just am very impressed by how soft but efficient the bristles are. I like the little rope handle. It's not plastic, it's fabric, and it just feels good on the body. I like the size of it too. It's the perfect size. From there, we are going into running gels, never second the energy gel. I like the citrus flavor. This is my holy grail, one of my go-to gels that I use. This gel has mainly carbs and sodium that you need. I don't believe there's caffeine in here. If there is, it's not a gel for caffeine in particular. No, this is mainly to get your carbs in, which obviously will turn into sugar. Love never second. And like I said, the citrus flavor. From there, you know the drill. We've talked about this, or if you follow me on Instagram, basically, or TikTok, Tower 28, their SOS Daily Rescue Facial Spray. I have it in the travel size. I keep it in my car and I bring it with me everywhere. I also love the mister and how it is a nice portion of how it mists. It doesn't just squirt one straight line. Last, but certainly not least, I guess we can do these together, even though they're different brands. Lip balms, lip glosses. You know me, I'm a connoisseur. The Paula's Choice Pro Collagen Peptide Gloss Balm. Really loving it. Goes on super smooth. This doesn't have any color in it. I like it a lot. And then my newer one that I added to my rotation, I'm a Grown Alchemist gal. I love their products so much. And this is their Hydra Restore Lip Balm. It is phenomenal. I like that it comes on like a sap in this cute little squeeze metal aluminum bottle tube that basically goes along with their brand. And the flavor is watermelon. I love watermelon. It's one of my go-to flavors. A must. We just finished episode 3. I did notice that the episodes are longer than 20 minutes since the first one, and I'm okay with it, as long as what I'm talking about is meaningful and I am not just vomiting at the mouth, because I'm definitely not here to hear myself talk. As you can tell, I don't even have any type of earbuds on. I don't want to hear me, though obviously I have to listen to it and edit it and so forth. But yeah, episode 3, down the drain. Can't wait for episode 4 next week. Follow me on Spotify and Instagram. Subscribe on YouTube. Next week, we'll have a new microphone. Cannot wait. That's that.